So today we're going to be talking about Alzheimer's and dementia and what I learned when I watched the Primal podcast with Louisa Nicola. Dementia and Alzheimer's is known as diabetes type 3. You have two metabolic systems. You can either be running on glucose or you can be running on ketones or fat. So when you are in a glucose burning state, it means that your brain is also using glucose for energy. Therefore, glucose is needed to power your brain. When you have insulin resistance, it means that you cannot efficiently transport glucose to other areas of the body. So your brain is not getting enough of its energy source. And that's why it deteriorates, it slows down, you forget things, you can't remember anything, literally because the energy source, the fuel cannot be transported because the transport for the fuel is damaged, which is why for, any type of insulin resistance, a ketogenic diet is a really good idea because obviously you're burning fat for fuel and you have fat all over your body. So it's like an endless supply of energy, as long as you have fat on your body. Another really interesting fact that I learned in the podcast was that 95% of all the cases of Alzheimer's and dementia could have been prevented with lifestyle changes. 95%. Just let that sink in. If you know anybody who is prone to Alzheimer's disease, like if it's in their family or someone who has Alzheimer's, this information could literally change their life. Another interesting thing that she said was that out of every 3 people who have Alzheimer's and dementia, 2 of them are women. She talks about how that is a lot to do with the hormonal changes that women go through during menopause. It's very demanding on the brain and it takes up a lot of energy. So if you don't have enough fuel to fuel your brain while it's going through that change, you're gonna burn out, right? Just logic makes sense. Whatever amount of energy that you need to fully function in a day, 20% of that is for your brain, 1/5. So if you're not able to provide your brain with the energy that it needs, your brain is going to slowly start to die, which is what we see in people with Alzheimer's and dementia. And again, this could be changed by lifestyle changes. So not only does she talk about ketogenic diet being beneficial, but she also talks about certain supplementations, like, having oily fish in your diet because of the type of fats that are in oily fish, the omega-3s, particularly the DHA, because apparently your brain is made of DHA. So if you're trying to heal any neurological issue, it would probably be a good idea to have a good amount of DHA in your diet because that's what your brain is made of. Another supplement that she talked about was creatine. So creatine, basically, it helps your mitochondria, which are the little engines inside each cell in your body. It has like a little engine, it's called the mitochondria. The mitochondria creates energy through ATP. Creatine helps that process. So creatine helps you produce more energy through ATP because it supports that whole ATP process. She also mentioned that exercise is really important. So exercise in zone 2 and zone 5. So that's like walking and then high intensity. Not high intensity interval training, just like high intensity. You want to be like at your max. Those 2 types of exercise is really good. For women, zone 2 is not as important for some reason. I can't remember what the reason is, but zone 5 is very important for women. So that's all for me for today. I guess the key takeaways are, if you know anybody who has Alzheimer's or dementia, or anybody who has it in their family and they're like afraid that they're gonna get it, you can share this video with them, or you can share the link below, which is the podcast that I watched. And there's probably a couple things in there that I haven't mentioned in this video because I'm literally just sharing with you what popped out for me, what I found interesting. Don't have alcohol. That's actually something that they mentioned, how alcohol can destroy your brain. So if anybody has dementia, Alzheimer's, just like don't let them drink. The easiest things to do would be to take creatine and to take the DHA and EPA, because those are kind of, you're just adding it into your routine. Changing your diet completely, I know for some people can be hard. Like they just have a sugar addiction, they can't let go of it. That's it for today, really. I hope that it wasn't too chaotic for you. Like this video if you found it interesting. Also feel free to share this with anybody who you think might find the information valuable. You know, nobody wants to experience that sort of deterioration or see somebody that they really love and care about disappear mentally, right? It sucks. So I could tell you a whole lot of more reasons why you should go into a fat burning ketogenic state, like that metabolic state, but that's like obviously another video. It's related to cancer and tumors, which they did mention in the podcast. So again, if you found this interesting, you're probably going to find the podcast really interesting. They definitely do explain it in a lot more depth than I have, of course, because I'm just reteaching what I learned. But yeah, stay happy, stay healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.